So, how exactly do you enforce one of the world's most complex tech laws across 27 different countries, each with its own way of doing things? Well, that's the massive challenge facing the EU's new AI Act. And the answer is a powerful new body that sits right at its heart. It's worth noting this analysis was carried out under the scientific supervision of Professor Vihar Kiskinov.
Yeah, this really is the central question, isn't it? I mean, a single rulebook sounds fantastic in theory, but making it actually work on the ground from Lisbon all the way to Helsinki, that is a huge undertaking, and it requires a very special kind of coordination.
So, here's our game plan for breaking this all down. First, we'll get to know the EU's new AI rule keeper. Then, we'll look at how its job evolved so incredibly quickly. We'll dive deep into its core mission of getting 27 states on the same page, see how it's shaping AI's future, and understand its role as a global voice. And then, most importantly, we'll connect it all back to why this board really matters to every single one of us. All right, let's meet the main player here, the European Artificial Intelligence Board. Honestly, the best way to think about it is like the central nervous system for the entire AI Act. It's made up of people from every EU member state, plus some observers from key EU groups. Its whole mission is to make sure the AI Act is a living, breathing law that's applied the same way everywhere in the Union, not just some document collecting dust in a drawer in Brussels. Now, here's where the story gets really interesting. The board that we have today is not what was originally planned, not even close. Its journey from being a simple advisory panel to a powerful guardian of the AI Act really shows you how much the EU's understanding of AI governance grew in just a few short years. And you can really see that evolution right here. Back in 2021, the idea was for the board to be a quiet assistant, mostly just helping the Commission with a database. But fast forward to 2024, and wow, its role has just exploded. Now it helps both the Commission and all 27 member states. It coordinates practices, tackles the huge challenge of general-purpose AI models, and even gets involved in promoting AI literacy. It's a total transformation. This timeline really shows you just how fast everything changed. In 2021, it was a simple advisor. Less than a year later, by June 2022, its job grew to helping member states directly. Then, by November of that same year, it was given the huge task of investigating systemic risks, a clear signal they were thinking about really powerful AI models. And by March 2024, the European Parliament piled on even more jobs, like promoting AI literacy. It all led to the final version, cementing the board as the central coordinator for all things AI in the EU. So, let's get into the board's number one job, making one law work in 27 different places. This is where the rubber really meets the road. I mean, how do you stop 27 different interpretations from just splintering the whole thing apart? Well, the answer is a process called harmonization. At its core, harmonization is all about consistency. It means making sure an AI developer in Spain is playing by the exact same rules as a competitor over in Poland. This creates a level playing field, and it prevents what's called regulatory fragmentation, which is basically where companies could just go shopping for the country with the weakest enforcement. So, how does it actually make this happen? The AI Act gives it some specific tools. The board gets all the national authorities talking to each other, it shares best practices on the technical and regulatory side, and it standardizes things like AI regulatory sandboxes. In short, it's the body that's actively building a shared, practical understanding of this law across the entire EU. But the board doesn't just look at what's happening today. A huge part of its job is about looking ahead and helping to guide AI's future path. This is all about being proactive, not just reacting when something goes wrong. And a key piece of that future is the General Purpose AI Model, or GPAI. Think of these as the massive, powerful models we're all getting used to, like the large language models. Because they can be used for so many different things, they create a really unique regulatory challenge. And that's something the board is specifically tasked with tackling. You know, one of the board's most important powers is that it can act on its own initiative. It doesn't have to wait for someone to ask for its opinion. It can issue its own recommendations, give advice on codes of conduct, and keep an eye on new trends to make sure the law doesn't become outdated. It's designed to be a vigilant watchdog, always looking ahead. Now, the AI Act's influence doesn't just stop at the EU's borders. There's this thing called the Brussels effect, which means it's probably going to shape global standards for AI. And the AI board? Well, it's pretty much the designated diplomat, the EU's collective voice for AI on the world stage. Its international mission is crystal clear: The board works with global organizations, advises the Commission on every international AI issue, and actively promotes the EU's vision for what it calls trustworthy AI. So, in a way, it helps export the EU's entire philosophy on how to regulate this technology. Okay, so we've covered the what and the how, but let's get down to the most important question of all. Why does any of this actually matter to you? Well, the board's work has a direct impact on the technology we all use every single day. First and foremost, it means safer technology. The board makes sure that the rules for high-risk AI, we're talking about things in medical devices or critical infrastructure, are applied consistently and correctly. And that makes these powerful tools much, much safer for all of us. Second, it means fairer systems. By helping to develop common standards, the board helps to spot and reduce harmful bias in AI, whether that's in an algorithm for hiring people or one that decides on credit scores. The goal here is to push for more equitable AI systems across the board. And finally, all of this promotes trustworthy innovation. By creating one clear, predictable set of rules across 27 countries, the board gets rid of a ton of uncertainty. This gives companies the confidence they need to innovate responsibly because they know the rules are the same for everybody. It builds trust, and trust is the absolute foundation of any successful tech ecosystem. The European AI Board went from a simple advisor to a powerful guardian in just 3 years. Its entire story is one of rapid adaptation, and that really brings us to the final critical question. As AI keeps evolving at this exponential speed, how is this guardian going to have to adapt next just to keep up?